Hi everybody, this is John Watkins. In late October, Margaret and I did something that I've wanted to do for a number of years, which is to drive the Blue Ridge Parkway during peak leaf season. The Blue Ridge Parkway is a federal scenic highway that runs from Virginia through North Carolina through the Appalachian Mountains. It's 469 miles, and each mile is marked with a milepost, starting with milepost number 1 in the north in Virginia and ending with milepost 469. We used Roanoke as our initial base, and we started at about milepost 63, and then we drove the rest of the parkway except for areas that were closed for construction, and that was only a few segments. So overall we drove about 85% of the parkway. And it was really a great trip. In addition to staying in Roanoke, we stayed for 2 nights in Little Switzerland, and then we stayed toward the end of the trip for a few nights in Waynesville at the Brookside Mountain Mist B&B. It was a great trip. Come along and we'll show you what we found during peak leaf season. As I said, we started in Roanoke, which is a really nice medium-sized city. Roanoke is known for a star on the top of one of its ridges. There's also a park and a zoo on the top of that ridge. It's very nice. And the fall color on the hillsides wasn't bad either. Of course, the parkway is all about driving, and on our drive we were driving through all kinds of fall colors, yellows, oranges, and reds. It was beautiful all the way. Our first stop on the parkway was at the James River Visitor Center, which is at milepost 63. The river marks the lowest point on the parkway at about 670 feet above sea level. You can also see a lock from a canal that was built in the 19th century. Our next stop was at Peaks of Otter, which is one of the most famous stopping points on the Virginia part of the parkway at about milepost 86. There's a really pretty lake with a lodge that overlooks the lake. This small cabin was actually a hotel, known as an ordinary at the time. This is at the Peaks of Otter picnic area off of the Blue Ridge Parkway. You can probably hear a little traffic in the background. Other than that, it's certainly a beautiful place. Kind of near the peak of fall colors. Quite beautiful. And here's more of the stream and the water and the back of the fall colors. Pretty nice. Well, on the northern part of the parkway, we took a slight detour to Natural Bridge State Park. It was a detour that was well worth taking. We're at Natural Bridges State Park in Virginia, not too far from Roanoke. Late October 2022. You can see it is quite an amazing thing to see. A lot of people here too. And this is more of the creek along one of the trails at the Natural Bridge State Park. I'm looking back now toward the Natural Bridge area. It's just pretty spectacular here. And we are here on a Sunday at the Mabry Mill on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and there are a lot of people here. Not surprising, it's leaf season and a beautiful day. And that's the mill. It's kind of cool. Nice reflection in the pond. So there you go. This is the Blue Ridge Music Center off the Blue Ridge Parkway. And it's got, as you can see, a visitor center with exhibits about the roots of American music and nice bathrooms if you need a stop, and they also play music here during the day. We'll see in a minute. One of the most famous landmarks on the parkway is the Linn Cove Viaduct. The viaduct area is from roughly milepost 295 to a visitor center at milepost 305. Although construction of the parkway began in 1935 during the Depression, the Linn Cove Viaduct was not completed until 1987 due to delays caused by environmental concerns. The viaduct skirts around Grandfather Mountain, as can be seen from this photograph.
The visitor center, there's this trail that'll take you up right kind of underneath the, and here it is. Here's a view right under the viaduct. We are here at the Linville Falls Visitor Center, getting ready to do one of the trails, we think. But this is a view just right outside the Visitor Center, which is just absolutely gorgeous. Thought I'd show it to you. So this is the upper view of Linville Falls, which is a bit of a hike, and you know, I must say I'm a little disappointed. This is the little lower trail right off the parking lot at Linville Falls, and you can see it has a really pretty little fall, and for my money it's just as pretty as the at least the view of the upper falls, which is really hard to get to for some of us anyway. You know, I've talked about with a lot of people about the experience of driving on the parkway at this time of year. It's just like you're driving through this canopy of mottled light of colors of yellows and orange and red, and this really shows it here. It's really something else. And we got some vehicles coming, so anyway, you can see what it's like. So we are here in late October at the Switzerland Inn, which is in Little Switzerland, North Carolina, right off the Blue Ridge Parkway. This is the view from the inn, and then I'm panning back to show you the inn and the terrace and the buildings. There's restaurants and pub and retail shops. Pretty cool place. Here we are at just after sunrise, the Switzerland Inn. Wanted to show you how the mountains look in the morning. You can see the fog in the valley. That's why they're called sometimes the Smoky Mountains.
And here's the sun rising over the ridge. You can see the fall colors. Beautiful. During the day, there are lots of beautiful places to explore on the Blue Ridge Parkway near the Switzerland Inn, as you can see from these photographs. Beautiful fall color. And after a day out exploring, a drink and dinner in the pub is a nice way to end the day.
This is at the Three Knobs Overlook, and I just wanted to show this briefly because it shows sort of late fall colors here, because it's at nearly 4,000 feet. And just the light is so beautiful this morning with the clouds and everything. Quite a scene.
At the Craggy Gardens Visitor Center at 5,500 feet above sea level, it was quite different. The fall color was largely gone, although you could see it in the valley.
This is at the Bad Fork Gap Overlook, which is at about mile marker 400. Just a little past Asheville, I believe. And you can just see the color here is just really at or near peak, just astonishing, and the clouds are wispy clouds in the sky. It's just quite a beautiful scene. Elevation here is about 3,350 according to the sign, and that seems to be the demarcation. You get much above that and you lose the color. This is Looking Glass Falls, which is in the Pisgah National Forest, and it's about, I would say 10 miles off the parkway. It's a beautiful waterfall, but unfortunately, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of fall color left here. But it's still really worth a stop. You can go down closer if you want, but I think on this trip, with the lapses of fall color, we're just stay here.
We're at the Devil's Courthouse Overlook, and that's the Devil's Courthouse, which is a rock formation. And as you can see, there's just no color left here. This is one of the most popular overlooks. It's between Asheville and Waynesville. And it's pretty high up. It's 5,400 feet. So here we are at the highest point on the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's about mile 430, something like that. And we've now been at the lowest point in Virginia a few days ago, and now to the highest point. Now this is the view looking the other way from Waterrock Knob Visitor Center. You can really see there's still some color down in the valley. Not anything much here up on the mountain. There's a wider angle view. Pretty interesting. We're at the Thomas Divide Overlook. We've come down from Warnock Rob, quite a bit. It's about 3,500 feet above sea level here. As you can see, the colors are still very, very vibrant. This is near the southern end of the parkway, or if you're going north, the beginning. And is right near Great Smoky Mountains National Park. This is taken at the strangely named Ballhoot Scar Overlook, right near the end of the parkway. And I wanted to show you the really nice reds and oranges that are still hanging in late in the season. On the North Carolina part of the parkway in particular, you go through a number of tunnels, including this tunnel, the Rattlesnake Mountain Tunnel. And you know, they had to do a lot of blasting back in the day to go through the mountains to make this road. Quite a bit of work, especially considering the equipment they had at the time. Not so many tunnels on the Virginia part of the parkway. So there you go. It was really a good trip. A few tips on driving the Blue Ridge Parkway. First of all, the speed limit is 45 miles an hour, and you really can't go much faster than that. There are going to be days when you're frustrated because you'll get behind really slow vehicles not used to driving on mountain roads. So just be prepared for that and consider it as an experience and not as an exercise in getting from point A to point B. Second of all, I would make reservations for stops along your parkway trip, especially if you do it in the fall, well in advance, because they tend to book up. I would also suggest if you make a parkway trip, you try to divide it up if you can in segments of roughly 100 miles a day or less, because there's a lot of things you'll want to stop and see. You won't go fast. And it just makes for a much more enjoyable experience. Well, anyway, that's what we found. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next video.